ASMR Magical Tools. Hi Aries, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Aries, let's see what the cards hold for you for the week ahead. Well, we've got the Seven of Wands, and the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords is somebody championing truth and justice. They can be blinded by their own zealotry from time to time. This Seven of Wands, you might feel beset on all sides by attackers and feel the need to really champion your own truth. Now, this is not the Queen of Swords, so this is not necessarily your truth, but there might be a deeply held belief of yours that has you feeling like you're under attack at this time. We do have the Wheel of Fortune coming out here also, showing that fortune is shifting in your favor. One thing I want to point out on the Wheel of Fortune card are the fixed signs around the edges. So this is on the Wheel of Fortune card. It's also on the World card. And the Wheel of Fortune card is not quite halfway through the major arcana. But we do have the depictions of the tetramorph here with Aquarius, the eagle for Scorpio, remember, Taurus, and Leo. Fixed energies can have to do with fate and destiny also. So next we have the Seven of Pentacles. You could be reaping the benefits of very hard labor. And there is a sense of some dissatisfaction here with the Seven of Pentacles, that I have obtained this harvest. But was it worth the physical cost? The other card we have here is the Two of Swords. You will have a choice to make moving forward and deciding if the amount of work that you have put into a certain venture is worth the outcome, or if perhaps there is a better path for you to take. Looking at these first two rows here, the Seven of Pentacles and the Seven of Wands could be speaking about a similar issue, if not the same scenario. It might be very hard work to defend a certain standpoint or viewpoint of yours. And you may have seen some payoff from doing so, but that giving you an opportunity of perspective to decide if that is the route you would like to take. And in fact, the final card that I'll be pulling for your tarot reading this week is the Four of Swords. And this Four of Swords, you can see he's resting. You can see that he is taking a nap right here. This guy's taking like a really long nap, but you might be taking a much shorter break from something. These three swords up here are talking about the conflict that he's come through with the Three of Swords. And this sword here at rest in a dormant state. And that may be, Aries, the choice that you make over the next week. For the readings this week, I will be using this chunk of obsidian. It is half of a sphere that has broken. Aries, I feel like somebody's been asking you a lot of questions, and this person could be in a position of authority. This could be a supervisor or boss. This person could be requiring a lot of information from you. So, requesting information, demanding answers. And asking you things that may or may not be within your realm of expertise. I think that in their opinion, these are things that are within your realm of expertise, but that actually a lot of these things might be outside of your pay grade, so to speak, and that you might at some point opt to stop using Google for them. It's not that this person is totally helpless. I think they are in some way requesting this information of you such that you justify your own knowledge of the situation, which is kind of not fair to you. I understand that this is a job and that obviously there has to be some kind of quality control in place. But I feel like it's not really an accurate portrayal of the information that you have, but rather that you are being tested using criteria that are not necessarily accurate. It's not really an accurate portrayal of your own place within the organization. So what I want you to do over the course of the next week is slowly kind of walk it back. Really look at your job description. It's very important to know your job description, what it says on the hiring paperwork that you signed, your work agreement. Looking into that and finding how your performance is supposed to be judged, and kind of getting that a little bit parsed out better, so that you are not having to constantly be producing this random information for this person. And that could be in a friendship, it could be in a relationship. It doesn't just have to be in a work environment. Obviously, if this person is a supervisor at work, then the connotations are slightly different. But the effect on you is going to be very similar, regardless of who is doing this. All right, Aries, and if you would, kindly direct your thoughts, your hopes, and your dreams in question form into the cover of this book. And I will tuck them gently between the pages. Give out that thou art poor, and see how many or what friends will run to serve thee. So this is talking about who among your acquaintances might be using you for money or influence. Pretend for a moment you don't know. Pretend for a moment that you don't have those connections or resources, and see if those people still stand by you. Aries, thank you so much for joining me for your reading this week. If you enjoyed this reading, your likes and your comments, as well as your channel subscriptions, are greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for 1,500 subscribers, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Taurus. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's see what fortune has in store for you for the week ahead. So firstly, we have the Lover's card, and this card can be about a choice for you to make, such as the choice by Adam and Eve to eat of the apple and to leave the Garden of Eden. The Lover's card could be about your romantic relationship. The Lover's card is also closely aligned with the sign of Gemini and the twins, Castor and Pollux. And as such, there might be familial relations involved. Anything to do with rivalry or jealousy is possible. I say that in this context because the next card we have is the Hanged Man. It could be that a romantic partner has hung you up to dry or is leaving you hanging. This is a very strong major arcana energy. So it doesn't seem like the kind of situation where you've been ghosted after 1 or 2 dates. This would be possibly a long-term romantic relationship that one of you thinks that it might be heading toward marriage, but the other person has perennial cold feet. This could also be about a work situation and being promised a promotion. Remember that love and money go hand in hand, of course. You could have been promised things at this job in exchange for something else. Not necessarily sexual, but very much like Adam and Eve in the garden. You might have been offered temptation. The temptation of more hours in exchange for a promotion that was supposed to bring you more money, for example. And they might not be following up with their end of the bargain. And I think, Taurus, that you have something to say about this. Now, you might have strong air placements in your chart, but that's not necessary for this Queen of Swords energy. The Queen of Swords facing this direction, she's facing the future. And she speaks her truth, even if it costs people's lives. You are, at this time, more than willing and capable of standing up for yourself in this situation. Taurus. Next we have the Ten of Wands, which is about burdens and oppression. This is a card of completion, however. You can see that he's carrying just as much as his arms and legs are able to handle. And with this card, we have the Eight of Cups. So this situation was almost complete. And we can't see where this figure is headed. They might be headed off into these mountains over here. They're leaving under the dark of night also. Maybe they can see where they're headed, and maybe they can't. The important thing is that you will be leaving this situation and leaving these burdens behind. And the final card that I have for your reading this week, Taurus, is the Seven of Swords. So this gentleman here is making off with 5 of the 7 swords depicted on this card. It's a card of treachery, treason, betrayal, underhanded dealings. Mind that you stay in your Queen of Swords energy, always speaking your truth, even if people get hurt. The Hanged Man card. This is elemental water. Very fluid, so if you have prominent water signs in your chart, the Hanged Man is attached not just to the element of water, but through the element of water to the planet Neptune, which is retrograde in its native sign of Pisces at this time. There's an element of self-sacrifice in this card, okay? And it's very important that I mention that to you, Taurus, in the context of this reading. Because I want you to understand that this is going to be to your detriment, and it is not going to take you where you need to go in life. It could even leave you vulnerable to situations like this one. Taurus, for the readings this week, I am using this half chunk of obsidian. It was once a sphere, and now it is broken down the middle. Where did you run to? Feel like you're running and running and running, and you keep trying to outrun this situation, this overall situation, but that there's something of it that is actually embedded deep within you. I was listening to that Mazzy Star song earlier, Fade Into You, and the opening line is, want to hold the hand inside you, almost like get to know the you within, be intimate with your psyche. And there's something to that. You can't just be comfortable and intimate with everyone's psyche, because a lot of people are not comfortable and intimate even with their own psyche. And I think even though there's a great deal of shadow work that you've been doing, I'm sure, there's something still that you are running from. Both of these cards carry elements of that. in that this Seven of Swords is escaping with stolen goods, and this Eight of Cups, this project was almost complete, and they went off in search of greener pastures. So there might be something like that for you, Taurus, in that, and just because the Seven of Swords shows up in your reading doesn't mean that someone else is necessarily going to be trying to betray or pull the wool over your eyes. Because we also have the Hanged Man showing up in this reading, I would also caution you against self-sabotage. And that if there are betrayals on the part of another person, there's an element of self-betrayal there too, in that because you have been running from this thing inside of you that you can't get away from, that you have run smack dab into the den of thieves. And there might be some element of that in this situation. At least for some of you. Horseshoe cup. This could be like a horse race. It could be like a cup that's got a lucky horseshoe on it, maybe even like a shot glass or something with a horseshoe on it. Fiendish liquors from the horseshoe cup. Some of you might be drinking to excess and to your detriment. I'm not judging, but only mentioning it. And that might be one of the elements that you are attempting to use to control this part of yourself. And there might be outside factors here with the Lover's card that someone else is attempting to use, possibly alcohol, or it could be other substances, to control your behavior to their desires. Question mark. I feel like there's a situation with someone, because I'm seeing someone wearing like question mark underwear. There might be a situation with someone that you're not quite sure where you stand with them, intimately speaking. And that you're kind of like, what are we? What are we really? And the question mark isn't so much like asking what's in there, but like asking if that is accessible to you. And then something like, he doesn't want me to talk to you anymore. And there could be a lot of like little conditional things around this question mark, predicating whether or not the question will be answered satisfactorily. There's just like a lot of conditionals in this situation. they're not respecting you. It's like sometimes people get very wrapped up in the idea of what somebody represents or what they have to offer, and then kind of blind themselves to the more practical aspects of the situation, when really all you have is the practical aspects of a situation, and all the rest of that is just illusion. All right, Taurus, if you would direct your questions here into the cover of this book, and then I will tuck them between the pages. Thou mayest be a merchant, but sell not thy soul for gain. Taurus, thank you so much for joining me for your reading this week. Your likes, comments, and channel subscriptions are also greatly appreciated. Thank you for helping me reach 1,500 subscribers. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hi, Gemini. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Gemini, let's see what the next week has in store for you. Very interesting. We have the Three of Cups. This could be an offer for revelry with friends, and I say that because we have the Page of Cups also. So these two cups cards together could mean a few different things. The Page of Cups is often an offer of money or a gift. It can be an offer of an emotional situation. Because we have the Three of Cups here, it might be an offer of revelry with friends. It could be an offer of something outside of a relationship that you're currently in, emotionally speaking. Emotional offers outside of your relationship. Could be late night drinking. Also, they all have cups raised high to the sky. And we have the Strength card showing up here in the reverse. So these two cards, to me, because this Strength card is coming out, represent for you some kind of temptation that you might not be able to resist coming up over the week ahead. So we do have the Queen of Wands coming out here. Now, Gemini is Queen of Wands, Queen of Cups. We have the Queen of Cups coming out here. Gemini is an air sign, but you may, of course, have very strong water placements in your chart, or you may just be dealing with your relationships with other people at this time. It doesn't necessarily have to just be partnerships, but can also be friendships. Any ways in which people are influencing you. And we have the Queen of Cups here. So this Queen of Cups could be your mastery over this situation. This Queen of Cups could represent your romantic partner also. And we do have the Six of Wands here. So even though you might have had a weakness for whatever that Page of Cups offer represents, the Queen of Cups is going to be triumphant in this situation regardless. The Six of Wands is a card of victory. And the last card for your reading this week, Gemini, is the Ace of Pentacles reversed. So this Ace of Pentacles could be representative of a new source of money coming in for you that you are not yet privy to. So sometimes when cards come out reversed and they're in future positions, it can just be this is coming in, but you don't see how yet. There might also be delays if you're supposed to start a new job, or if you are supposed to start a new endeavor. So still in this week ahead, we will be dealing with Mercury retrograde in Libra, your fellow air sign, which can lead to delays, such as this one. All right, Gemini, so for this week, I will be using this black obsidian. It is half of a sphere. It used to be a whole sphere, and it cracked in the middle. Delays. Leading to delays. And diversions also coming up, so that the delays are not necessarily related to the diversions in some ways, but in other ways there is kind of a link there, that because your focus would be more on your emotional life, your interactions with others there, that your financial concerns may have fallen by the wayside temporarily. I'm very much getting like a sense of diversion, and especially as it relates to this Three of Cups, such that the Three of Cups might not necessarily be a like a third party situation, but might represent, if you look at it this way, you might see these cards together like the Four of Cups, right? So these are the 3 cups that you would have before you, and this would be the cup that's being offered by the floating hand, the divine hand in the air. And being distracted in some way is going to delay this. I don't think you will be cheated of your opportunity, only that there are going to be delays because of this distraction on your part. And you might already be kind of ensconced in this distraction, but I think it will be coming to an end soon. Coming to an end soon. Partying. I do get the sense of some partying. There might be a drug test associated with some hiring process, and you're going to try to delay that in order to pass a drug test. So that's possible. There is a resistance. I don't know if this is a resistance on your part, or maybe a resistance on the part of the hiring, that they, there's that saying, hire slow, fire fast. And so they might just be taking their time with this situation also, such that it's not like you necessarily are going to be able to accelerate the process, but that in the meantime you're just taking part in these diversions. Overall, it does look like a very entertaining week ahead. And as I mentioned, I don't think these two things are mutually exclusive, but I also don't think that they're entirely linked either. So that, it's not like somebody is watching your social media like a hawk necessarily, waiting for you to slip up so that they can retract some kind of offer, or because the offer might already be on the table. All right, Gemini, if you would kindly direct your questions here into this book, and I will answer them. I'm going to tuck them gently between the pages. Okay. A frugal repast will preserve thy health and give thee many days to live. whilst the midnight banquet may kill thee straight. I do get a sense of moderation here of some kind, but also of a allowing one's appetites to prosper during this time. Gemini, thank you so much for joining me for your reading this week. Your likes, comments, and channel subscriptions are also greatly appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you for helping me reach 1,500 subscribers. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Cancer. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Cancer, let's see what the cards have in store for you this week. So, we do have the Nine of Pentacles coming out. The Nine of Pentacles is a card of financial security and stability. This woman may or may not have had to work very hard for what she has here. She may have inherited it. She may have always lived a life of leisure, but she has she has time for hobbies like falconry and enjoys very much the pastoral setting in which she lives. You can see back here the house. It's a very pleasant energy. We have the Two of Wands here. This is a card about planning. It is a card about marking up your calendar. This can be a card about mapping. You see there, he's holding a globe in his hand and he is surveying all of this territory around him. And we have a very powerful card here to accompany that, which is the King of Wands. The King of Wands could be a fire sign person with whom you are acquainted. This could be a business partner, a romantic partner. This King of Wands is a very charismatic leader, very capable of swaying others to his way of thinking, using persuasion. He may be helping you plan your future based on this financial stability. You can also look at it as though it's the Two of Wands, and then the King of Wands is bringing in this other wand, his scepter, and that is going to help you manifest into Three of Wands energy what it is that you wish to bring in at this time. You may wish to manifest this stability. This might already exist in your life, but you may wish to reinforce it because it is appearing here in your reading upright, which tells me that this is probably something that you already experience in your life. But that here with the King of Wands and the Two of Wands, you are planning how to make this a very long-lasting energy. Or perhaps because of your stability, now you are able to plan trips. Now you're able to plan new business ventures, other things like that. Cancer, you're showing up in your reading very strongly this week. We have the Chariot here, which is your card in the major arcana, and a card of victory. Now, not just victory, but mobility. Look at the similarities in imagery between this Two of Wands here and the upright posts on the Chariot. You could very well be traveling, planning and executing travel. We also have the Five of Wands showing up reversed. Now, the Five of Wands is about healthy and active competition between peers. And where it is showing up reversed like this, especially with the Chariot card, it could be that you are leaving that competition behind. We do have 3 wands coming out here in your reading. And this King of Wands might be the one who is helping you transcend this particular situation, the Five of Wands. There may be somebody in your life at this time who has strong fire placements in their chart. There could be a lot of creativity in your life right now. Or you yourself, although you are a water sign, may also have strong fire placements in your chart. And the final card for your reading this week, Cancer, is Death in the reverse. So the Death card showing up reversed like this. There could be an absolute transformation in your future that you do not yet see. Especially because this card is coming up in a future position. So this might be something that you are not expecting, despite all of the planning that is going into this situation. But of course, that is the risk that you run with mobility. When you leave your comfort zone, eventually, you run into unforeseen circumstances that have the potential to change you. The Death card is not necessarily a bad card. It is an energy of transformation, first and foremost, and does not necessarily mean physical death. I think I will clarify that though, because that's just a very ambiguous card to get for that position. That might mean that that is not going to happen this week, but that events are going to start setting up for that this week. So I'm just going to pull out my little Lenormand deck here, and we'll pull 3 cards about that. We have the mountain, the scythe, and other. Now, other could refer to this King of Wands aiding you, and the scythe and the mountain might mean that they're helping you cut through obstacles. And so because they are helping you cut through these obstacles, the means by which your transformation will take place are not yet clear. All right, Cancer. So I will be using, for the crystal scrying this week, this obsidian half sphere. It used to be a whole sphere, and then it broke. It broke. What is this looming for you on the horizon? I see dotted lines on the highway. That's very specific imagery. You could be out in the high desert. That would be very specific to California. So what does that mean for, or on the Autobahn, or is this short distance travel or long distance travel? There's room for flexibility there. So for some of you, you might be planning a road trip. You might be going on tour. Something about a basket case. Is this like a Green Day song, or is this like being on the road making you very nervous? And the unknown aspects that come with this type of travel kind of jolting you out of a sense of security, that you had been lulled into this kind of comfort zone with the Nine of Pentacles. And now you are leaving your beautifully appointed Tuscan villa behind to seek your fortune elsewhere. And there's a dynamic process occurring by which you are allowing certain parts of yourself to kind of float off into the ether, such that by February of next year, you may have developed a poltergeist. Poltergeist being something that moves your stuff while you're not looking. And this manifestation can come under extreme stress. Now, is this necessarily going to be a poltergeist? Not necessarily for everyone. Of course, anytime you are not vibrating at a higher frequency, you're going to be attracting little scuzzy energy leeches to yourself, and they can have all kinds of effects on your life. But I think how this is more going to manifest is that when you're able to be still, you're able to be very organized. But when there's a lot of movement going on around you, that it's much more difficult to maintain that same kind of order. And so I'm hearing the word poltergeist specifically, but it's not necessarily a poltergeist. It's just all of your things moving all the time. You might be looking for a way out of it, actually. You might be contemplating your different options come that point in the future. But as I mentioned before, this is not necessarily going to be happening in the week ahead. This part might be, but this part might be coming more off in the future. And there is a lot of fire energy in your reading this week. We do have 3 fire cards, 3 wands. And remember, we have this King of Wands. So I think that there is a very influential and charismatic person who is in your life right now. And it's possible that the two of you are romantic or business partners, such that your lot in life is thrown in with this other person right now. So there might be things that they are doing that are actually good, that are also strongly affecting your life. All right, Cancer. If you have any questions, kindly direct them here. And I will feed them to my book. Let's see, there's one right there. And this one right up here. Oh, that's a stubborn question. I hope I can answer that. Be exceedingly cautious in thy present speculations. Cancer, thank you so much for joining me for your weekly reading. If you enjoyed it, your likes, comments, and subscriptions are all greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for helping me to reach 1,500 subscribers. That really means a lot to me. And until we meet again, I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hi, Leo. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's see what the cards have in store for you for the week ahead. We have the 5 of Swords here, so some kind of victory hard won. And you may have alienated yourself from some people in the process. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Often when people leave our lives through the suit of swords, there was something ill-fitting about that companionship. Sorry, trying not to get too tangled up in the dastardly webs we weave, right? We have the 2 Two of Cups here, there could be a very powerful union in your life at this time. This could be a romantic partner. In fact, the Two of Cups is often about a marriage, a spouse, or a life partner. But the Two of Cups can also be about friendships and can also be about business arrangements of some kind or another, especially if you started out as somebody's friend and then you go into business together. And we also have the Queen of Wands showing up here in your reading, Leo. Now, this could very well be you as the Queen of Wands. Somebody strong, confident, lights up a room when they enter. Very capable of defending herself, but not necessarily using weapons, rather using her charm to encourage others and persuade them to her way of thinking. The Queen of Wands could also be the partner here on the Two of Cups. But just because the card is showing up as a queen doesn't make it male or female. So we have the Three of Wands showing up here. And this Three of Wands, you can see way down at the bottom here, if I get my face out of the way, there are these boats way off in the distance. This figure on the card is a merchant, and this figure is waiting for their ships to return, bearing the fruit of some trade that has been negotiated. I think of the Three of Wands as the threefold card, that the energies you have put out into the world are returning to you threefold at this time. We have the Ten of Pentacles coming out here also. Now, the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse like this, I think you are not quite to the end of this financial cycle, so that money might start coming in for you at this time. But it's not going to be the full amount that's possible, or that there is going to be a greater build still ahead of you to your financial success. And the final card for your reading this week, Leo, is the Fool upright. You are embarking on a new journey. It is important to set out on this journey. You can see here, he's got this white flower in his hand. And that white flower represents innocence and purity of heart. There's also a fragility to that flower, that you are in somewhat of a precarious situation, but there is great promise ahead. The sun up here in the sky your loyal companion, this little white dog. So you do have loyal companionship on this journey. And because the Fool is upright here, it is very promising for the road ahead. Leo, for the readings this week, I will be using this cracked half sphere of obsidian volcanic glass. These pieces of obsidian that are highly polished to a shine like this are wonderful for scrying. They are wonderful tools. They're very reflective, but not like a mirror would be. There's a darkness to it and a bit of obscurity, and that is what makes a black obsidian sphere so wonderful for scrying. Parts of you are living in the past. We did not have the Six of Cups come out in this reading, but the Three of Wands here, there's a lot of the past in this card. It is the fulfillment of contracts. It is retrieval. So you may wish to undergo some soul retrieval exercises at this time. There are some very wonderful soul retrieval meditations available here on YouTube, and I invite you to take part in those. They're very helpful. And would I ever do a soul retrieval video? It is possible, but at this time, I would recommend that you go and watch soul retrieval videos by people who have been highly trained and specialized in that field. Someone's been watching you from a distance, and it's possible that you can feel this in some way, that you are either aware that this person's been paying attention to you, or that you've been getting little inklings and signs that someone is watching you from a distance. And they might have plans for you. It's also possible that these two things are very separate, that the Queen of Wands is not in fact a current partner, but rather someone who is coming in as a friend. And it might be because of this action taken also. You might have eliminated some people from your friend group, and that not necessarily opening up space in your friend group, but being more discerning about who you keep around you. That could be something that's going on this week. Something about a charioteer. So there could be a Cancer in your life who holds a place of prominence. Your partner might be a Cancer with this Two of Cups, because the Cancer in your life would probably not be showing up as the Queen of Wands, but rather would be showing up more as a cup. Sometimes the Chariot could be a King of Cups, or a Knight of Cups, or a Queen of Cups. And Page of Cups is usually an offer. They're walking like around you, like I don't want to say like they're orbiting you, but there's this aspect of your relationship at this time that they are kind of walking around your periphery and watching you almost from a distance. And so this person would be like the moon, Cancer being the moon, and then you've got this other person orbiting you that's more like the sun. Except you're the sun, because you're the Leo. So, this would be more like the moon orbiting the earth or a planet orbiting the sun. Don't disregard that sacrifice. When a person is focusing their attentions on you, there is a certain sacrifice of attention that they could be giving to their own pursuits, their own energies, and holding on to those energies. Anytime we gift a person with our energies, whether that is in friendship or a romantic relationship, usually in business arrangements, there is some financial compensation, but a lot of times getting to that point, you have to put a lot of energy in before you start seeing a payout, right? So anytime somebody is gifting you energy like that, they are then, of course, sacrificing that energy. Can be neither created nor destroyed, of course, but the energy that we are able to channel through ourselves as humans in these physical forms at any given time is finite. And some people are able to hold on to energy better, and some people are not able to hold on to energy barely at all. And so just be very mindful of that sacrifice that this person could be making for you at this time. All right, Leo, and if you would, direct your energies here into this book. And I will pluck them out of the sky and tuck them among the pages of my book. And let's see if we can get an answer for you here. Content will render this union a complete paradise. And if thou likest cabbage, use the needle. That, of course, being if you like to get paid, become a fashion designer. Leo, thank you so much for joining me for your weekly forecast, your 100% deluxe guidance. If you enjoyed this reading, your likes, shares, and comments are greatly appreciated. And until we meet again, I look forward to seeing you very soon. Hi Virgo. Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Virgo, let's see what the cards hold for you for the week ahead. So we have the Nine of Wands here, which is a very defensive energy. This is an energy of guarding what you already have. And it is the last stop before you take on the burdens and oppression of the Ten of Wands. After the Eight of Wands, there is a cessation to the wands flying through the air. And now you are somewhat resting, but only insofar as you are also able to guard yourself and your possessions. Virgo, we have the Emperor reversed. This could be trouble with authority. There could be situations where you are feeling defensive because somebody is coming down very hard on you. There's a certain amount of disorder with the Emperor reversed too. A little bit of chaos there and unpredictability. We do have the King of Swords showing up. So some of you might be having to advocate for yourselves at this time. Especially if you have strong air placements in your chart. This might be you showing up as the King of Swords. This King of Swords might also be showing up because although we have the Emperor coming out in the reverse, the King of Swords might be wanting what is best for you, might be wanting what is fair for this situation, but that it is coming off harsh, that the justice he is doling out might be overly harsh. But the King of Swords is upright here, even though the Emperor is reversed. So these could be two different people. The Emperor could be one authority figure, and the King of Swords another, and they might be at odds with each other, and it might have something to do with you. So we do have the Tower here. The Tower is a very destructive change. Something is going to happen that is going to tear down foundations that have been built up. And this could be having to do with this Emperor. The laws which have been put in place by this authority figure may be proven to be unjust. Because the next card we have is the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups is the completion of an emotional cycle. So in this case, that could very well be this situation where these two authority figures are disputing something that has to do with you, and that the outcome of this ends up being positive. Hopefully it is that, and not the other way around, that your very pastoral happiness is being destroyed by this Tower moment this week. We will draw one more card and find out. Because you had this Nine of Wands come out first thing, I'm more inclined to think that the Ten of Cups is going to be a result of the Tower moment, because it looks like you're in a period of stress possibly right now, and so that probably wouldn't be something you were hesitant to give up. The final card for your reading this week is the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. Now, this Knight of Pentacles is coming out in a future position. So this could be two different scenarios. This could be that money is coming into you very slowly. Or it could be that very soon money is going to be rushing in very quickly. But because the card is reversed, you do not yet see the mechanism by which that will occur. The money might be going out with more frequency than it is coming in. But because this card is in the future and in the reverse, I'm more inclined to believe that soon money will be rushing in quite quickly. All right, Virgo. So for the crystal scrying this week, I will be using this chunk of polished obsidian. It was once a sphere and is now but half. I think there's some righteous indignation on your part, Virgo, at being subjected to these less than ideal conditions, such that maybe there's a fortuitous angle to this here, that the utter destruction is not only to destroy and tear down the injustice at hand, but also to take the edge off of this righteous indignation that you are holding in this situation. There's a sense of wonderment around this Knight of Pentacles. So what's going on right now is that as I'm scrying with the crystal, then I'm able to get more visions about the cards. So that's why I've started incorporating the two into the same reading. There is indeed a sense of wonderment with the Ten of Cups coming in. And you are not going to... The Tower moment that you're going to have is really quite powerful. And it could be regarding success. That, especially because the Tower card is upright, the figures are falling down. But there is such a phenomenon as falling up, that everything is kind of ripped out from under you, and rather than falling, you actually sprout wings and fly to a higher level. And that is the sense of wonderment I am seeing for you in the week ahead, Virgo. And I'm getting imagery of that Knight of Pentacles card, that he's riding a Pegasus. That your money will have wings, so to speak. That could be it's coming to you from a variety of different sources. That could be that there's a lot of air sign energy around it, creating movement. So the knights are actually fire of earth energy. So if you have the movement of air, that is going to stoke that fire. Fire and air kind of combine in a very harmonious way, rather than fire and water, where the fire is quenched by the water. But that rather than this just being, this wouldn't be Knight of Swords energy, clearly, right? But that this Knight of Pentacles energy is also being stoked and expedited by the power of air. So it's possible now. Remember, we have a lot of Libra placements in this week, but one of the things to keep in mind is that Mercury is going to be retrograde until the 18th. So what might be happening is that this situation will not be able to come in until any Mercury retrograde situations have worked themselves out. And that could be something delaying that money coming in. Financial stability and security arrives promptly on the 19th. I'm hearing that, but of course, that's going to be true for some, maybe not for others. But it's that kind of idea that all of a sudden, out of the blue, it kind of drops into your lap. And if you would, Virgo, direct your questions this way. And I can gently tuck your questions between the pages of this book. And then I'll read your answer. So, thou wilt marry into a rich and respectable family, and a beautiful male child will be born unto thee. Those are possibilities. But basically, all of that is referring directly to this Ten of Cups card. So, this could very well be coming in for you over the next week, whether this is a new marriage, a new partnership that leads to marriage. Ten of Cups is one of the marriage cards, but it's kind of more like the establishment of a family. So that could be very literal for some of you, but for others of you, that could represent emotional fulfillment, such as one would get from establishing a family. Virgo. Virgo. Thank you so much for joining me for your forecast this week. You're If you enjoyed this reading, your likes, comments, and channel subscriptions are greatly appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for helping me reach 1,500 subscribers. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Libra. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Libra, let's see what the cards have in store for you today. We have the Sun reversed, and this is a very good card, even when it comes out reversed like this. So, the Sun is all about positive outcomes and having a happy life. It could be that there are just one or two issues holding you back from feeling completely fulfilled. We have a couple of cups coming out here also. So we have the Ace of Cups, and we also have the King of Cups. You might have prominent water sign energy in your chart. This Ace of Cups could be a new emotional beginning with this King of Cups person. The King of Cups is somebody who's very paternal, very nurturing, not necessarily masculine, can be a feminine person, but the overwhelming energy is just of being a family-oriented person. And with this Ace of Cups coming out, this is going to be the beginning of a new cycle, possibly with this person, or this person could represent you, Libra. So the next card we have coming out here is the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords is about nightmares, anxiety, worries, concern. Again, with that Sun card reversed, there could just be a few things in your life that are causing you concern. Because we do have the Queen of Pentacles coming out here. And this is a card of financial stability and success. That you have achieved a position where you don't have to worry about money. So what would it be that you would have to worry about? I guess clinical anxiety is also a thing. It could be that you've had worries about money recently, even though you are very stable. That's also possible. And the final card for your reading this week, Libra, is the King of Pentacles reversed. Now, this King of Pentacles could be coming out in the reverse because in the future you will find a resolution for this money issue. However, you've hit a glass ceiling that then resolving with this King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles reversed can also represent being overly entrenched in antiquated ways of thinking about money and finances, and those being things that could hold you back. So, let's see some of the things overall that we have going on. We've got the King of Cups. We've got this King of Pentacles. It could be that you're a very nurturing person, or this person in your life is very nurturing, but that they haven't always been able to provide financially necessarily. And your worry might merely stem from that. All right, Libra. So the stone that I will be using for the crystal scrying today is this black obsidian half sphere. It was once a whole sphere and then got broken. Libra, I feel like somebody had let you down in the past. Somebody you loved very much. Could have been a parent or a guardian figure. But they couldn't teach you about money, what you needed to know. And this, rooted in the past, has been the source of your anxiety about money in the current situation, even though you're actually doing quite well. So I don't think that there's actually anything to worry about. I think it's an illusion. Often, nightmares are merely illusions. You could also have a very stressful job. That's another possibility. I am picking up something about a Warwick bass. I did used to play bass guitar, and Warwicks, they have cheaper lines of basses now, but typically these are very expensive, nice bass guitars. So some of you might wish to buy such an item for yourself or for a loved one, possibly. It's another possibility. But like I mentioned, there's a wide range of electric guitars. Maybe this person wants a particular bass and it's very expensive, or a particular item that is very expensive. I think that it is possible to afford such an item, but a bit of thought should go into it. Now, there's no need to have anxiety about it. because you can either afford it or not afford it. And you'll know if this person is serious enough about their craft that it would warrant purchasing a very nice musical instrument. The creative field is often overlooked as a source of income. People don't want to pay you for the work that you do creatively. I didn't get a Knight of Cups here. But there might be. It's really, if you're using playing cards, Jack of Hearts is like the card of the creative, definitely. So there could be an element of that. We didn't get any wands here either, but that doesn't mean that you're not a creative person, or that this person in your life is not creative. Contract type work. Elemental tomfoolery. There's some elemental tomfoolery going on here, where the passive water cups might be acting very much like wands. And something about that is making you nervous, because we do have the Sun card, in addition to being the card of the Sun, is also tied to the fire sign of Leo. So typically the moon is about creative pursuits. So what we have here is people going against their nature. And I think that is what is making you nervous. But it's important to look at these cards, okay? The Queen of Pentacles is somebody who is financially secure and financially stable. And this King of Pentacles, as I mentioned, could be that achievement of success in the future. It is a future position card, but can also be very antiquated and outdated ideas about money and how one is able to earn one's money. So don't allow these antiquated ideas about what success looks like block you from what you're capable of achieving, Libra. And if you would, kindly direct your questions here into my book, and I will divine from it. Your fortune. Pluck these questions out of the air. Let all proper means be used, and a speedy end will be put to the patient's disorder. So, whatever this worry is, go through all of the steps. Take all of the steps in sequence toward the goal. And in due time, you will find yourself at your destination. Libra, thank you so much for joining me for your reading this week. If you enjoyed it, your likes, comments, and channel subscriptions are all greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for helping me reach 1,500 subscribers. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Scorpio, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Let's see what the cards have in store for you for the week ahead. So the first card that you have this week is the Five of Pentacles. There could be tricky situations over the week ahead, or you could currently be in a situation where you feel a sense of lack and feel like you've been left out in the cold. Now, notice that in the background, behind these two figures, there's the window of a church. Another card that we have here is the Hierophant. The Hierophant is Taurus's card in the tarot, in the major arcana. And the Hierophant might be found inside of a church. Now, these two figures could feasibly go inside this church and obtain help, but perhaps there's something going on with this Hierophant. The Hierophant represents the status quo and established ways of thinking. The Hierophant is also the fifth card in the major arcana, and we have the Five of Pentacles here. So 5 can be a number of conflict in the tarot. We've got the Five of Swords and the Five of Wands also. And then, of course, the Five of Cups being about disappointment. So if you look at the symbolism there, the Five of Pentacles is similar to the Five of Cups in that both water and earth are considered passive elements. So this Hierophant, there he is in the pulpit, presumably, or on some kind of throne, passing down religious edicts and dictating the moral compass. There may be ways in the week ahead that you find yourself out of step with what is considered the predominant social law. This wouldn't be the legal law. This would be people's social behaviors and how they are often regulated by religious organizations. We also have the Magician here. And the Magician is a card about manifestation and typically can be considered representative of the querent in a reading, because the Magician is aligned with planet Mercury and so is not specific for one to any given astrological sign. The Fool and the Magician. Fool is elemental air, and the Magician is the planet Mercury. So those are both, can be associated with air signs. But that's not necessarily the case because they're both singular figures representative of these strong concepts. Manifestation, new beginnings, for example, in the case of the Fool. But we have the Magician here. Remember that. I'm not really talking about the Fool per se. So this could be you in the reading, desperately trying to manifest a way out of this, but not yet finding success with that. So the Magician does have this mastery over all of these implements here on the table. But sometimes you can put a lot of work and effort into a manifestation, and it will still be very difficult for this thing to come to fruition. And remember that Taurus is also fixed sign energy, which would make it square to the sign of Scorpio and thus create tension. Scorpio is also about transformation and can be iconoclastic, flying in the face of that Hierophant energy. It is possible, too, that the Hierophant here can represent spiritual advice, and that perhaps there is someone around you from whom you could get very good advice about how to get out of this situation. But with the Magician reversed, I think you are trying to throw everything you've got at it first. And I did mention the fives in the tarot earlier. We have the Five of Cups coming out. This is a card of disappointment, but notice that only 3 of these cups are overturned. All is not lost. There are 2 cups here behind this figure that they are completely disregarding. Completely disregarding at this time. And this card I consider to be a compliment to the Hierophant in the major arcana of the tarot. The Hermit. Now, the Hermit is seeking answers. The Hierophant, although he is in a position of power, is often handing down answers from the Bible, could be from a hired member of the clergy, and is not necessarily giving orders independently. The idea is that the Hierophant is also ruling by divine will in some ways, but that those orders are coming from a higher power. Here we have the Hermit, who is seeking those answers. The Hermit might be the Hierophant in an earlier stage of his development, although the Hermit is the 9th card of the major arcana, and the Hierophant is the 5th, so that the Hermit is further along in the Fool's journey. You might be seeking things at this time because of some hardships that you might be going through this week. And if you look, this figure in the 5 of Cups has their back to the Hermit. Regardless, the Hermit is still illuminating this situation. Scorpio. The final card for your reading this week ties it all together very nicely. It is the 9 of Cups. The 9 of Cups is the wish fulfillment card. So, all it took was a little soul searching to turn 5 cups, 3 of which were overturned, into 9. It could be that whatever this manifestation is, from however long ago that took place, will also finally be coming to fruition this week. And do observe that the 9 of Cups is upright here, which means that you most likely will see results over the week ahead. Scorpio. For the crystal this week, I will be using this half sphere piece of highly polished obsidian volcanic glass. Obsidian is excellent material for scrying. You can see nice reflections in it. But are not limited by the fidelity of the reflection. This person is not asking you to come along with them. And that might be the source of some of the disappointment. That they don't need or want your help at this time. That's possible. Or that it was a case of mutual aid. That is also possible. That this person, it doesn't have to be a romantic partner. This could just be somebody who's a friend or a business associate. But I'm sensing something about the idea that that you were both going in on something, but that they have withdrawn. Now, there's not a totality to this. It's not like they are leaving your life forever. There's extra layers in this arrangement. Like with the Hermit, for example. The Hermit is very much a solitary figure, and yet is shining light on that Five of Cups situation. Likewise, they did not follow you here. There's a crossing of paths, and you're both mutually better for it. Something about all these extra layers, and you're trying to kind of peel away. It's like a bag with just a ton of tissue paper in it, and you're trying to get to the bottom of that bag. And you're tearing at all of this tissue paper, and the fear is that once you reach the bottom of the bag, that it will be empty, that there's nothing in there. But in fact, that's where the Nine of Cups is. So I don't think there's an idea of birthright too, that I'm hearing both severance and preference. Severance is given because of the birthright. So that there could have been a special arrangement made because of your ancestral ties, just for you. And that's kind of what I'm seeing with that Magician in the reverse. There's a lot of powerful manifestation taking place on your part, but that the final result will come not only by your own hand, but by the remnants of some kind of birthright energy. This Hierophant wants you to forsake all of your earthly possessions and become the hermit. But that's not necessary for your process, and that would explain why these people have not gone into the church. That was still puzzling me. But overall, this will be a successful week for you overhead. Don't know why I said overhead right there. But there might be a bit of a rough start. Scorpio, if you would please direct your questions here into the cover of this book, and I will pluck them out of the air. And endeavor to provide sufficient answers. So there's a couple about providence here. Implore the aid of providence ere thou settest thy foot without the threshold of thy house, and be just in thy dealings, and trust to providence for advancement. So there may be a bit of deus ex machina by way of enlightenment that comes through for you this week, Scorpio. Scorpio, thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed your reading this week, your likes, comments, and channel subscriptions are all greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for helping me reach 1,500 subscribers. And until we meet again, I look forward to seeing you very soon. Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Sagittarius, let's see what the cards have in store for you for the week ahead. Sagittarius, we do have the Justice card coming out. There could be some kind of justice coming through for you this week. We do have the Ace of Wands here. So this is your fire energy coming out through the reading. The Ace of Wands is a card of potency. It's a card of creative beginnings and a card of your energy levels. So Ace of Wands is new, fresh energy. We have the Four of Pentacles here too. You could be holding tightly to your resources at this time. So we do have a new creative beginning, holding on to your resources, and some situation equalizing, balancing out, possibly a positive or favorable outcome in a court case. So we have the Knight of Wands coming out in the reverse. This is fire of fire energy. And it may be a misdirection and a scattering of the energy here with the Ace of Wands. So there might be aspects of this Knight of Wands where your energies are being scattered and not properly utilized. It's kind of like burning the candle at both ends and then holding a lit flame under the middle as well. We have the Four of Wands here also. The Four of Wands is a card of celebration. It's called the 1111 card, like seeing your clock at exactly 11:11 is supposed to be a sign that your manifestations are coming through. There are a lot of wands in this reading so far for you, Sagittarius, which is good for your creative energies. The Four of Wands can be a marriage card also, or a marriage proposal. We have the Four of Wands and the Four of Pentacles, so holding tightly to something. You could be trying to hold on to your energies. And the Knight of Wands here in the reverse could also be a sign that you don't have a lot of energy at this time. The final card for your reading this week, Sagittarius, is another 4. We have the Four of Cups. There's 3 cups here, down in the foreground, and this person sitting under the tree doesn't seem very interested in any of those, nor do they seem to notice this cup hovering in midair being offered by this celestial hand. So, the Four of Cups is about having a few options open to you that you are currently possibly disregarding. I like to think of that line from American Psycho when I see the Four of Cups. That's a very fine glass of champagne you're not drinking. Is it glass of champagne, or does he say that's a very fine Chardonnay you're not drinking? I can't quite remember. If you remember, let me know down in the comments. But the principle being that you have these really wonderful options open to you, and yet you are holding out for something better. It could be because you are trying to conserve your resources. It could also be because you feel like your happy ending has already come, that everything's already as good as it's going to get. But that's not what the Four of Wands means. The fours are completions in one way, but they're like books that have sequels. This is like the first book in the series has ended, and you know that there's a sequel, there's one that comes next, and that the story continues. Sagittarius, the stone that I will be using for the readings this week is this chunk of polished obsidian. It used to be half of a sphere, or rather it used to be a whole sphere, and now the sphere has been split in half. It's a very good substance for scrying. So there's this bakery in Burbank here called Porto's, and they have all kinds of really delicious baked goods. And I encourage you at this time, Sagittarius, to treat yourself to something like that. A cake or a snack or a goodie. I feel like it will soften the overall effect. there's not bad things going on in your life. In fact, I think everything is kind of evening out and actually on an upswing. There's a caution here, but definitely not like the Nine of Wands. This is more like, I'm happy with what I have, so why would I endeavor for more? Especially because that's going to require me to expend energy that I might not be feeling at this time. But I feel like you were feeling it at one time. That at one time you did see the potential for this and perhaps had put a lot of energy into some kind of manifestation, and now the results are kind of popping up in front of you with the Four of Cups, but you don't necessarily recognize them for what they are. So open your eyes, Sagittarius. Open your eyes. That is one of the things I can say to you this week that will help you. We don't have the Fool card here. So this is not being open to any and all situations. This is simply seeing the things in front of you that are truly available to you at this time and could be of great benefit and could really take you to the next level, the next destination on the journey that is your life, where you would like to go from here. I think a lot of things will be opening up for you. Well, that some very good options will be opening up for you this week. All right, Sagittarius, if you would, direct your questions here toward the cover of this book, and I will pluck them out of the air. Be not dismayed if thou shouldst meet with danger. It will not affect thee if thou art resolute. It might not affect you anyway, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed your reading this week, your likes, comments, and channel subscriptions are greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for helping me reach 1,500 subscribers. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Capricorn. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. This will be your 100% deluxe week ahead. Let's see what the cards have in store for you this week. Gosh, I'm not quite sure if that sound is going to come through or not. There was might have been a chair overhead or something. So we have the Eight of Wands. Some situation will be coming to a swift closure. With closure. So, not just getting an ending, but getting closure. It should come in quickly, and it should be relatively painless. We have the Page of Wands. This could be a fire sign person. Could be a new creative endeavor also. This could represent you partnering with somebody in a creative endeavor. Because the next card that we have coming out is the Three of Pentacles. And the Three of Pentacles is about group projects and also has to do with your professional reputation, in that you have gotten far enough along in this job to be good at what you do, but are still answering to these overseers about your tasks. We have the Six of Cups coming out reversed. Now, the Six of Cups is a very nostalgic, cozy sort of an energy. But honestly, I really like to see the Six of Cups coming out reversed like this, because it means that things are not necessarily going to be returning from the past, and that instead you should be focusing on your future. We do have the Judgment card coming out here also. And this card is upright. So the Judgment card, all of these people are rising out of their coffins on Judgment Day. And the angel is blowing his horn to alert them. Everyone who ever existed upon this day will have their merit as a human being judged. There may come a situation where there is an opportunity to return to things from the past, and that this is going to be a test for you, that you are going to be tested to see how you handle the possibility not of returning to that past, but rather striking out into new territory, into the future. Remember that we also have the card of the Six of Swords in the tarot. Not in this reading, I want to clarify, but I'm comparing the card of the Six of Cups to the Six of Swords. You could imagine this Six of Cups in the reverse being a bit like that, in that you are headed out in unfamiliar waters towards a new destiny. The Six of Cups reversed, however, does not carry the same implication of mobility. Capricorn, we have a really beautiful Major Arcana card to close out your tarot reading this week. And that card is the Empress, bringing back in the idea of 3. So this Empress could be reinforcing this creative energy. There could also, for some of you, be an ending to this group project situation. And that is what the Eight of Wands is bringing in for you. And that you will be able to resist the urge to return to things from your past and instead manifest these divine creative energies in the future. So the Empress can be about fertility, but this is not necessarily just a card about pregnancy. All kinds of things can be considered your children, and that's very much the case in your reading this week, Capricorn. Capricorn, for the readings this week, I will be using this chunk of polished obsidian. Yes, it does have quite a few fingerprints on it. I don't necessarily keep my scrying surfaces perfectly polished. There's a note. I feel like somebody, the Eight of Wands here, I'm seeing this like a note. And that all of those wands descending are the lines of text that have been written out. And each one of those lines of text represents something like, do you remember when we did this? Do you remember when we did that? And not necessarily in a critical way. So, not necessarily that this person is going down a laundry list of complaints and saying, well, you always did this and you always did that and this always irritated me about you. It is possible that some of you might end up getting a note like that, but I think also there's these aspects of like, this thing that we did together and then putting that to bed. Like, we did this thing together where we went on this hike in the woods and that helped me become a better person in this way. And this other thing that we did together where you made me set the tent up by myself. At the time, I was really nervous and afraid I was going to mess it up, but doing that helped me learn more about myself, and now I'm able to move into bigger and better things in this way. And so there's a lot of finality to it, a lot of emotion. We do have that Six of Cups reversed, so there might be some sad feelings about this, but I think this is if there's a parting of ways here, It is for your mutual benefit. And this does feel much more like a friendship or a business situation. Like you might be writing a letter of resignation this week, even though maybe you haven't been at that job for a very long time. You might have learned a lot there. And from there, you will be going into a very creative and fertile future, Capricorn. So, if you would kindly direct your questions here into this book, and I will gently pluck them out of the air and tuck them within the pages. A clean corner is not the worse for being twice searched. So it's okay to review these things. That is the sense that I'm getting from the Judgment card and the Six of Cups reversed. That there's going to be a certain amount of review going on, so that these things can be put to bed once and for all. Capricorn, thank you so much for joining me this week. If you enjoyed this reading, your likes, comments, and channel subscriptions are all greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for helping me reach 1,500 subscribers. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Aquarius. Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. This will be your 100% deluxe guidance for the week ahead. Let's see what the cards have in store for you. So we have the Six of Pentacles coming out. There's a fair level of success here. You can see this figure not only has these scales here, but is able to give to the poor. So there could be charity work. There could be speculation, such as the stock market or the lottery, or other forms of gambling. We have a couple of pages here. So we have the Page of Swords. Aquarius, this could be you coming out in your reading. The Page of Swords has to do with things like other kinds of speculation, not financial speculation, but looking in on other people. So can be spying, but isn't necessarily spying. Looking into different situations. So you could be trying to assemble a piece of furniture and looking up a video on YouTube. That would also be Page of Swords. on a fact-finding mission. Fact-finding mission. We have the Page of Pentacles here too. The Page of Pentacles could be an offer of money. So this could be a new financial endeavor, and you're on a fact-finding mission about it. And the nature of it then would be somewhat speculative, because you are not familiar with this particular field, perhaps. Or if it's a way of investing money, maybe you need to do some research about it, but it could be a very good opportunity for you. We have a couple of 8s coming out here. And they're kind of opposites. We've got the 8 of Swords, which is about feeling trapped. But if you can see, none of the swords are actually in front of this figure, and their feet are free, even though they are wrapped in this, whatever this is, binding them and have a blindfold on. So they're not very aware of their surroundings and thus feel like they are trapped. We also have the 8 of Pentacles here. So I said these cards are kind of opposites because swords are air energy and are considered active, and then pentacles are earth and are considered passive, and just like fire and water are considered opposites, air and earth are also considered opposites. Opposites, 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 opposites. So in this particular case, although I am tempted to sing the song about how opposites attract, the 8 of Pentacles is an established field for you, career-wise, that you have done this a lot. You could do it in your sleep. You've had a lot of success doing this. Aquarius, this may make you feel trapped at this time, even though that might necessarily not be the case. Remember, this figure on the 8 of Swords very much feels trapped, but is quite capable of escaping that situation. It might be that you've gotten to a point where you're so specialized in what you do that you don't see yourself getting out of it. But this situation here does hold a lot of promise. The final card for your reading this week, we have the Temperance card in the reverse. Now, the Temperance card is Sagittarius's card in the major arcana and can be about higher education. This card is showing up reversed in the future position, such that there might not be a lack of mastery in your life in the future. But have you considered maybe going back to school? Maybe getting more training? So with this Page of Swords here, there's been a certain amount of fact-finding. The Temperance card is a card about mastery, how the angel is pouring water between these two cups at a very extreme angle. And you notice the angel has the fire elemental symbol on their chest, so that even though they are dealing with water at this time, they also have mastery over its opposite of fire. The Temperance card can be about moderation and it can be about balance, but in the way that it is an evolution of the learning process of the hermit, there is a great deal having to do with higher education in this card. All right, Aquarius, 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 Aquarius. So, the stone that I will be using for the crystal scrying this week is this highly polished and also heavily fingerprinted piece of black obsidian. It was once part of a sphere and has now been split into 2 or more pieces. Somebody didn't call you back. This could have been about a job or about another situation that you were involved in, like a friendship but I really get the sense that it was like not getting a call back about a job. And this might not necessarily be the worst thing for you at this time. I think you have the capacity right now for a form of transformation that you might be able during this period to transition into a different career if you choose to do that. And it could be very much in your favor to do so. That you would be in a much better position, possibly. And at least would not feel so trapped. Now, the total transformation needn't take place over the course of this week, but this might be the juncture at which you decide what kind of additional training you would like to undergo in order to move yourself forward. Because the 8 of Pentacles is good, but it's not retiring at 35, right? It's not, you still have to work with the 8 of Pentacles. Whereas with the 9 of Pentacles, the person who is depicted on that card is living a life of leisure. The Queen and King of Pentacles, those people may have responsibilities, but what they do for work is far from manufacturing. And this Page of Swords energy, Aquarius, might be the fact-finding you do over the week ahead if you haven't already been looking into education possibilities or possibilities to be trained in a trade. That might be how all of this got started, that you realized you could be making much more money. Something about the Hierophant. So, a pastor or religious leader in your life. This doesn't necessarily have to be the pastor at the church you attend. This could just be a religious leader that you know in your life. Might be trying to give you guidance at this time. Maybe your father's a pastor, or maybe you have an uncle or another family member who is in the clergy or who is involved with a religious organization. This could be, the Hierophant doesn't necessarily have to be an established religion's leader. The Hierophant could be somebody who's a Reiki practitioner, could be somebody who leads guided meditations. These things are possibilities too, in that they have a lot of esoteric knowledge that they are sharing with others. And part of this esoteric knowledge might be something that you use to push this progress along. The Ars Notoria, for example, is a type of magic that can be used in conjunction with study to improve and enhance learning techniques. And I do keep saying higher education with the Temperance card, but I don't want you to just think about that as college or going back to college. For a lot of you, that might be what this is. But for others of you, I don't want you to feel limited to that. There are so many classes right now available online that you can attend through Zoom and other platforms, Google Classroom. There's just a lot of training available out there for you to increase the possibilities for your future. All right, Aquarius, and if you would, I feel like this is specific for, a lot of this has been specific for somebody who maybe has strong Sagittarius placements in their chart too. So if you have strong Sagittarius placements, make sure that you watch that as well. And if you would, direct your questions here, and I will pluck them out of the air and tuck them between the pages of my book. Thy dream saith, be diligent in thy business, and constancy on thy part will meet a due return. Aquarius, thank you so much for joining me this week. Your likes, comments, and channel subscriptions are greatly appreciated. Thank you. Thank you, thank you so much for helping me reach 1,500 subscribers. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Pisces. Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Let's see what the cards have in store for you this week. Pisces, I see for you this week a completion. The World card is about completion. It's the final card in the major arcana of the tarot, and the 4 fixed signs are depicted in the corners of this card also. This is a contented completion, like the revolutions of the earth. We also, Pisces, have Aquarius's card here, which is the star. This is about your hopes and dreams coming to fruition, and again, is about fulfillment. So I do sense a lot of fulfillment for you this week, Pisces. We also have the Ace of Swords in the reverse. So the Ace of Swords can be about making changes in our lives. It's very much like the Ace of Spades, which is akin to the Death card also. So the Ace of Swords is a bit like the Death card and the Tower card in that it is a card of great changes. However, these are changes that you are affecting on your own life. You have control over how you wield this sword, Pisces. Now, this card showing up in the reverse tells me that there are changes that you're not ready to make in your life yet. Now, that could be because you don't feel ready, but it could also be because it's not quite the right time yet. We had some of these things have just resolved, right? You've just had this completion of fulfillment come through. And so you might not be ready to leave that space just yet. The next card we have coming out for you this week, Pisces, is the Devil. Now, the Devil is all about the things controlling us. This can be our addictions, but it can also be about illness, and it can be about bad habits that keep us stuck, that keep us tethered to the devil. Pisces, we have the Knight of Cups coming out here with that Devil card. So, both of these cards are upright. This Knight of Cups here could be you. The Knight of Cups follows his heart. And you might be trusting your gut and following your intuition at this time and galloping away from all of these things that the devil represents. Likely, those things are no longer serving you, and furthermore, are no longer a part of your vibration. Pisces, the final card for you this week is the High Priestess. This is a card about secrets and hidden knowledge. Pisces, the High Priestess is governed by the moon and very tied to those cycles. And through the moon has water energies and thus can in some ways be tied to your sign of Pisces. The moon card in the tarot is also ruled by your sign. So there are a few loose, fast and loose connections here, directly related to you, Pisces. There are pomegranates in the background of this card. That has to do with the idea of the Sephirot in the Kabbalah being pomegranates in a garden, basically, for you to taste. And so there is great knowledge here for you to taste. This is a card inviting you into the sacred spaces. We already know that you've had a completion and that you are turning your back on certain things at this time. I think in order for you to make these changes within yourself, there is a certain amount of shadow work and development that you will be doing in preparation this week. And I think it's something you've already planned. I don't think this is something that I am telling you to do. All right, Pisces. So the stone that I will be using for the scrying this week is this chunk of black, highly polished obsidian. It was once part of a sphere and is now just half. Pisces, you want to get a new pair of Nikes. There's like an idea here that there's been a windfall, and thus you want to celebrate by treating yourself to something nice, perhaps that you've been needing for some time. So this could be luxury sneakers. It could be, I see for somebody, it might even be like a rice cooker that you finally buy, a Vitamix, something like that. And I think you're going to be doing this because you have completed a cycle and you are celebrating this triumph. And there are things that are changing around you, so it's not like that Ace of Swords is merely misplaced. Gavarot, I don't know what that is, but that might be meaningful to somebody. Sometimes I hear words and I don't know what they mean. Yeah, that you're very serious about success at this time, and you really kind of hit your stride also. That you are coming into a situation that is like you feel like you've arrived. You feel like you've made it finally. And because of that, I do think you're hesitant to continue to work on yourself. But I do see that you'll be doing that. I think it's possible that you have associated up until this point the idea that you're searching and your shadow work, the goal was to get to this point. And now that you're here, there might be the temptation to feel like, well, this is it. This is all there is, and just kind of stop exploring that part of yourself. But I think that's not what you're going to be doing. And I applaud you for that you would continue to seek. And that is what comes after the world. The revelation of coming full circle back around again to the Fool. I don't really have much to say in regard to the crystal this week, Pisces, because more than anything else, I'm just getting such a sense of relief and fulfillment regarding the current situation for you. I see you celebrating, popping open a bottle of wine, getting nice cheese, having like a beautiful charcuterie board that you're snacking off of at a nice party at your well-appointed villa in Tuscany. There's just a great deal of success for you in the week ahead, Pisces. And this is going to look different for everyone, you know. For some of you, this is going to be achieving your ideal of success. For others of you, there might just have been this very long-standing obstacle in your way, and you have found a way to get away from it, listening to your heart, and just really accomplishing some kind of completion. All right, Pisces, and if you would, direct your questions here into the cover of this book. I will tuck them between the pages. And we shall see what we shall see. The suspicious lover is the destroyer of his own peace. That might be what you're walking away from this week. Situations where you can't trust. Situations where you can't have trust. All right, Pisces. Well, thank you so much for joining me this week. If you enjoyed your 100% deluxe guidance, your likes, comments, and channel subscriptions are all greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for helping me reach 1,500 subscribers. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you again very soon.